Welcome to the Women Lighthouse podcast, your friendly guide through all the ups and downs of life. We're here to remind you that every woman has the strength to take charge of her journey and make her dreams come true. Each week, we'll share heartwarming stories and helpful tips from amazing women who have faced their own challenges come out stronger. Tune in, get inspired, and let's start this exciting journey towards achieving your dreams together. The Women Lighthouse, your guide to a brighter tomorrow. Hi, ladies. You're welcome to the Women Lighthouse podcast. It's great to have you on the show today. So, in today's episode, I'll be talking with you on 10 reasons why you need to start building your legacy now. When you think of legacy, what comes to mind? What kind of life do you want to leave behind when you are no more? What kind of life do you want to be remembered for? What are those things that you want to put in place that even when you are no longer existing here on earth, those things can outlive you? As a woman, you need to understand that you are a leader. When a woman comes into the scene, she brings order in the midst of chaos. And one of the best ways that you can lead is by replicating yourself or replicating something that God has placed in your hands so that even when you are no longer in the picture, you can still be valuable in the lives of people. And that thing that you have done can still be valuable in the lives of people. Let me give you an instance. When you think of people like Mother Teresa, why do you think till now people would think back about Mother Teresa and still remember her? It's not because of her name, it's not because of where she came from, it's not because of her work or her likes or her dislikes. It was basically because of the things she did when she was alive and the impact she made that is still speaking till today. So, is this the kind of life you want to live? A life that speaks volumes even when you are no longer in the scene? If your answer is yes, then you tuned into the right episode. So, I'll basically take you on 10 reasons why you need to begin to build your legacy now, not tomorrow, now. And when I tell you that reason, I'll be telling you something that you need to do to begin to craft that legacy right now. So if you do not have a pen and a paper with you, then I'd advise you get one because you're going to be taking some notes this time around. So the first thing you need to understand is that life is short and life is unpredictable. You don't have control over how long you live. Yes, you may want to live long, but the truth is life is a gift. God is the one that gives you every day that you get to be alive. So the question is, you can die at any time, but what can you do today with the life that God has given you? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down three things that you want people to remember you for if today was your last day. So just think about it. If tomorrow would not be an option for you, what are the three things you want people to remember you for? The next thing why you need to begin to build your legacy now is because your legacy shapes generations. Your legacy is not just about you. You can see people that call certain names. For instance, the name of a president, even if that president is no longer in office. But because by reason of that name provides access to certain doors that if they were not connected to that president, that door cannot be opened. The question is, whose life can you shape through your life? Which generation, which people can benefit from what you are actually doing with your life now. So when building a legacy, you have it in mind that I'm not just living for myself, but I'm living for people that would still come after me and sustain that which I have started. So, what I want you to do is identify one habit that you want to pass down to the next generation. What is one thing that you want to pass down to the next generation? So, let me give you this example. For instance, you can decide that you want to be able to teach the next generation the love for learning. We are in an era where there's so much distractions through social media, through other forms of media. Yes, these things are legitimate, but it's causing a lot of distractions. And you tell yourself, okay, I want to be able to begin to teach children how to cultivate a love for learning. And with that, you start building a structure and a system that helps you begin to craft that path. So that even when you are no longer there, by the time a child that was connected to a program that you organized and he remembers that, oh, yes, I was blessed as a result of this thing that you did, that would forever live in that person's memory. So identify one thing that you want to pass down to the next generation and begin to work on it. The third reason why you need to build your legacy now is that when you have a legacy, it helps you to clarify your priorities. You are not pursuing everything. Some things may be legitimate, but that may not actually be the path that you desire to pursue. So let me give an instance. Yes, I practice as a medical doctor, and at the beginning of my career, I began my clinical practice. But as I began to uncover my interests, my passions, my desires with regards to what I do as a doctor, I knew that I wanted to go beyond the four walls of the hospital. In fact, let me give you this gist. I recently encountered someone in my office who was pregnant, and throughout she had a challenging pregnancy. Throughout the course of her pregnancy, I was basically guiding her through, supporting her, being there, being a listening ear, just giving her that support that she needed. Do you know, by the time she gave birth and we were just talking and gisting, she was like, see, Dr. Hamilton, I think you need to begin to do something beyond medicine. In fact, when you talk to people, people are so encouraged that you really stood by me throughout the course of my pregnancy. In fact, I will not even call you my doctor again. From now on, I call you my mentor. This was something that I did with ease. I just held her hand through that period and provided support, provided a listening ear, provided guidance for her. And that was the feedback I was getting. And she's not the first person telling me about this. It further buttresses the nudgings and the desires I've been having, that my calling is not restricted to the four walls of the hospital. And it has to do with building women, supporting women, strengthening women towards a life of balance and fulfillment. So that is what legacy does. When you understand what you want to do, your interests are, your desires are, and you begin to build and craft that path for yourself, you will be clear. When opportunities come that is not in alignment with that aspect that you have already charted a course on, you know that okay, this is like a distraction. Okay, even if I'm going to indulge in that thing, I'm not going to do it for a long time. It's just by the way. Okay, if I'm going to get a job in a clinical setting, it's so temporary because I know this is what I've been called to do in the women development space. So that is one thing that legacy does. It provides you with clarity on your priorities. So one thing I want you to do is I want you to reflect and ask yourself, this particular thing you're doing with your life now, does it really reflect what you truly want to do with your life? If you die today, will you really be satisfied and content that yes, this thing I'm doing with my life, this job I'm working, this business I'm building, this brand I'm building, this thing I'm involved in that I wake up to do on every single day, is that really what my heart wants, and is that really what God has called me to do? Write that down. So, the fourth reason why you need to begin to build your legacy is because legacy is bigger than wealth. Legacy is bigger than wealth. Legacy will give you fulfillment. Legacy will give you peace. You may have wealth, wealth of knowledge, wealth of money, wealth of connections, and all that. But would that really give you the peace, the satisfaction, the fulfillment that you want? There's something about doing something that puts a smile on someone's face or that makes a difference in the life of someone, that gives you this inner peace and conviction, and above all, that makes God happy and proud. So, the question I ask you today is, what you are doing at the moment, how fulfilling is that thing for you? So I want you to do this. Write a personal mission statement that anchors your life when things get tough. What is your personal mission statement? Why? What is that one thing that God has called you to achieve with your life? Jesus had his personal mission statement, which was that he came to deliver us from the bondage of sin and restore us to a relationship with God. He came to save us from sin and restore us to righteousness. That was the thing. So even if he didn't live long, when he looked at his life at the end of 33 years, he had accomplished it. My mission is to be a force that empowers and inspires women towards purposeful living and balance and fulfillment in everything I do in my life, consciously, subconsciously. Like the example I just gave, I didn't plan it to impact the life of that my friend and colleague in the office. It just was natural. So the question is, write that personal mission statement. Reflect on your strengths, your abilities, your interests, your burdens, your patterns. I've done an episode about discovering your purpose. If you check the episodes I released at the beginning of the year, I did a series on purpose discovery and fulfillment. Listen to that episode, it would help you. So it's very important. Have a personal mission statement. Don't step into 2026 and you're just living your life business as usual without having a mission and a vision for your life. The next reason why you need to build your legacy is because your legacy fuels resilience in hard times. Recording this episode now, I'm still mourning my mom. I'm still grieving. In fact, I'm still preparing towards laying her to rest. But even if for the past few weeks it's been a bit overwhelming and I've not been in that headspace to record, this thing I'm sharing with you is something I had planned like 2 months back to share. But because of how passionate I am about what I'm building and the legacy I'm building, it allows me to show up. People look at me and say, "Oh, you're so strong, you're so strong." And I laugh. One of the things that fuels my strength is clarity of purpose and the fact that I'm building a legacy that will outlive me. The fact that God has given me life today, and it's my responsibility to make the best of today to do what He has called me to do. So when you are going through trying moments, through hard times, that clarity of purpose and that legacy you are building helps you to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. So, what I want you to do today is I want you to write down one value that you want to be known for and you want to start living daily. What's one value that even when you write out that what you want to be known for and what you want to start living for every day, even when you don't feel like it, you don't feel like showing up, you remember that you want to be a blessing in the life of people. You want to build a structure and a system that provides guidance and mentorship to women out there to live purposefully and fulfilling lives. That keeps you showing up even when you don't feel like it. So, the sixth reason why you need to build a legacy today is that legacy builds influence. The only way you can influence and impact the lives of people and make a difference. When I say influence, is about making a difference, making an imprint, making a shift in the life of somebody. So when you build your legacy, it can even be your kids. Okay, look at your kids. Let's even make it basic. You want to be a positive influence in the life of your kids. You are building a legacy. You want them to be known as children that have certain kind of qualities and values. You begin to portray those values to them. You begin to teach them about it, talk about it, influence their lives. Legacy builds influence. You cannot afford to just live for yourself and yourself alone. People must feel you. There's a hymn that says you will only be remembered by what you have done. You cannot influence without action. So your legacy pushes you to action, and that action imprints and influence in the lives of people. So here is one thing I want you to do today. I want you to choose one person in the year 2026 that you are going to mentor in an area you are strong in. It could be one of your kids, it could be your colleague, it could be your neighbor, your friend, just one person that you want to mentor. And when I talk about mentorship, there are different paths or ways in which you can mentor people. You don't have to sit them down or build. There are different ways. In fact, that's another, I think I will do an episode on how to mentor people. So there are different ways to mentor. You may not even be planned. Oh, I want reach you reach out to someone and say, oh, I want to mentor you. No. Like I know there is a friend, a younger friend and a younger colleague in the office that at the moment I'm mentoring, but I never for once ever reached out to her and say, oh, come and be my mentor. Oh, I want to mentor you. Sometimes we just strike normal conversations and we just talk and I just share and I just listen and I just send things to her. And because I've seen that desire, I've seen that interest, and I've seen that this is someone that I can be a blessing to. And I just begin to pour into. As a mentor, your duty is to pour into the person you are mentoring. So, who is that one person in 2026 that you want to consistently pour into that person's life in one area that you are strong in? So, the seventh reason why you need to build a legacy is that legacy prevents regret. You don't want to die and be full of regret. Oh, I wish I had the time to do this. Remember the story about the rich man and Lazarus? The rich man had opportunities to change his ways, but at the end, he died and went to hell and was full of regrets and was wishing that he could come back and tell his people to change their ways so that they don't experience what they're experiencing. God has given you today. What are you going to do with it so that tomorrow you won't be living in regret? Now that you have the strength, you have the skill, the money, the expertise, everything that you have, to make a difference and begin to craft a legacy for yourself. Why don't you begin to do it now? Why wait till you are not as strong as you used to be or you become busier than you currently are before you start taking steps? So, what I want you to do for me today is I want you to identify one relationship that needs restoration, one relationship in your life that you need to work on. That's another thing. You don't want to die or lose somebody knowing that you wish you had the opportunity to rectify things. I remember I've shared about my dad when my dad died. One of the things I was grateful to God was the fact that we had opportunities before he passed. to amend our relationship and grow closer. So he didn't die with me feeling hurtful or regret that, oh, I wish things were different. I wish um, we were in a good place. So just choose one relationship that needs to be mended. You may not even be in a bad place in that relationship. You may even be a relationship that you feel you need to invest more commitment into. A relationship with your peer, with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends, your parents. Choose one person that you will mend that relationship or nurture that relationship with in the coming year. The eighth reason why you need to build a legacy is because legacy inspires others around you. I am so excited every time I get feedback about what I'm doing with Women Lighthouse. And the beauty for me is it's something that I can do without stress, without feeling bored. For when I even hear the way my staff talk about me, I'm like, okay, what special thing did I really do that I'm getting this kind of feedbacks? Or like my colleague that I mentioned about, is just mind blowing. Trust me, you want to be able to inspire people around you with your story, with your actions, with your words, with everything you do, with your results. Building a legacy provides you with that opportunity. So I want you in the coming year to begin to share your story. It can be with people physically, it can be online, you can start a blog. And this was how Women Lighthouse started for me. I just knew there was more to my life than practicing as a doctor, going to work every day. And there was that impression in my life to begin to share my story. That was the essence. Women Lighthouse began with the podcast. In fact, when I started the podcasts were not like I personally didn't know podcasts were that common. In all honesty, I used to listen to podcasts while growing up when I was in my teen years and my young adult years. But I didn't even know anything about how to start a podcast. I didn't start because people were starting it. I just wanted to share my story. I didn't even start on YouTube. I started on Spotify. I started with audio. In fact, it's even recently that I'm beginning to say, okay, let me begin to show my face so that you know the face behind the voice and all of that. But the point is, I want you to begin to become confident in sharing your story. You may feel like, oh, what will I even say? What do I have to talk about? What do I have to share? Trust me, you have a whole lot. From the beginning of your life to the point you are now, there is a whole lot that the world needs to hear from your story. The ninth reason why you need to begin to build a legacy is because your legacy strengthens your faith and your purpose. And there's no way I can have a conversation without talking about purpose, fulfillment, destiny, and calling. It's not possible because you were created for a purpose. And one of the best ways you can begin to live out your purpose is by crafting a legacy that will outlive you. Let me use an Charles Kirk as Charlie Kirk, sorry, as an example. He died at a young age. He died a tragic death. But the little period that he had to live, he used his life to begin to express his purpose and his calling and has built a legacy. Even now that he's no more, the organization he built is still ongoing. The videos are still being released on YouTube. His name has not died. He may be dead physically, but his name is still out there, and other people are still driving the legacy he began to build. You can't afford to die without crafting a legacy for yourself. So, one thing I want you to do is I want you to dedicate time to pray and reflect on how your life aligns with God's purpose. The worst thing that can happen is for you to live a lie. Live a life that God didn't call you to do build a big business when God wanted you to do something else. So it's important that your life is aligned to God's purpose and calling for your life. So begin by praying and asking God, God, how what do you want me to do? I really encourage you to check out the first few episodes I released at the beginning of 2025. I shared how I discovered my purpose, the patterns, the things I looked out for that helped me to discover my purpose and maximize my potential. Those episodes will help you. So, the last reason why you need to build a legacy is that legacy is the gift you can start giving today. You don't have to wait till you die for your legacy to start speaking. Just with your daily life and the interest that you have, even as a mother, even as a staff, it's a gift. Jesus said, I came that you may have life and have it abundantly. Jesus came to give us life. Jesus didn't come to live for himself. He came to live to fulfill the purpose of God over his life. And he came to live in order to die for humanity. That's what legacy is about. Legacy is about giving your life, your talents, your resources, your expertise to the greater good of those around you in fulfillment of God's purpose for your life. So, what I want you to do for me is I want you to do one act of kindness this week that reflects the kind of legacy you want to be remembered for. There's something I started doing recently. I told myself I want to be more liberal, I want to give. Sometimes people gift me things. So why shouldn't I gift people? So I decided that even if it's tips, I should just give people things randomly. So you work for me or you don't even work for me. I go to maybe a hotel or something for a training. I just see someone around doing their work. Oh, just take easy to buy something. Just an act of kindness that you can do to someone randomly, someone that you know, someone that you love, someone you may not even be in very good terms with. Just make it a point of duty to act kindly to someone this week. And I'm so hopeful that with these 10 things that I've shared, both the reasons and the actions you need to take, that when you put it into practice, you will begin to see the difference. I love to hear from you. Let me know, what legacy do you want to build and what step do you want to begin to take today based on what I've shared. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. Don't forget to share this with a lady that needs to hear it today. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. We really hope today's episode has given you some great tools, resources, and a boost of confidence to take charge of your journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. You can also follow us on our social media handle for even more tips and a wonderful community that's all about supporting your growth. Join us next time for more uplifting stories and encouraging insights. Until we meet again, keep shining bright, stay inspired, and embrace your unique path to a better tomorrow.